it is Jason, back with another walk and talk. It's been a while. It's been over 2 months since I made one of these walk and talk videos in my neck of the woods. It's a beautiful day today. It's currently 84 degrees, sunny. Look up at the skies, not a cloud in sight. Beautiful. And my mom says it's still freezing weather up in Ohio. I've seen on the news all these like ice storms and snowstorms. Glad I don't have to deal with that anymore. I did for about 28 years of my life. And I don't want to do that anymore. If I want cold weather, like skiing. I do like skiing, although I've not done it for like a decade. But if I wanted to do it, I could fly to Colorado and go skiing. But I haven't even really wanted to. I've been a little too fat to really get on some skis for the past decade. So it's nice that it's warming up. It was a little cold when I first got back from Thailand, like that first week. Then I went on my cruise to Cozumel, Mexico. When I came back, it was back in the 70s, and then now it's in the 80s. So when it gets cold in Texas, you don't have to wait too long for things to warm back up. I like that. So, I guess there's a lot of things to talk about. Where do I start? I could give you a summary of Bangkok. I really did like Bangkok. But I was surprised on, there's a lot of cheap places to eat. Like the Terminal 21 food court. That was probably the pinnacle of cheap places to eat, where you're getting like $1 for a meal, a bowl of soup for $1, or some duck and rice for $1. It's unheard of. But I was surprised at how, even in Terminal 21, some of the other restaurants in there, they're actually pretty pricey. Like it'd be $18 for a meal, and then and that was for like Thai food. So I burned Basoba place, I think it was $18, but I did get several dishes, so that wasn't just for one dish. But I'm just saying, Bangkok isn't all around cheap for everything. I did show some of the cheap stuff, but I did show some of the more expensive stuff too. Like that buffet was about $60, I think. It's $58. All you can eat. That's pretty. But I guess for what you get an all you can eat buffet, I don't even know what that costs in the US anymore. And then the Charlie Brown's Mexican restaurant, that one was like $28, I think. So you can end up spending some money in Bangkok. It's not just dirt cheap. Well, there's a lot of ultra luxury sides too. So, and I can't get over how many like luxury stores there are. Like there's right there on Sukhumvit, there is probably one, two. I wouldn't call Terminal 21's not a high-end fashion mall. That's more of a normal everyday mall. Like there's at least 4 ultra luxury malls right on Sukhumvit, and then plus the Icon Siam one across the river. So there's like 5 maybe. 5 or 6 like ultra luxury malls, and in each one of these malls there'll be like a Louis Vuitton, like all. It's not just like one Louis Vuitton at this certain mall. There's like 6 of them, 6 Louis Vuitton stores, 6 Fendi stores, 6, all these ultra high-end luxury brands. How are they keeping 6 stores in business? But I guess it's from 35 million tourists coming through there a year, in a population of a country that has like 40 million citizens, and they get like 35 million tourists a year. That's wild. So maybe there are that many people buying ultra high-end luxury stuff. Maybe it's like a money laundering scheme. People come to flush their dirty money into high-end fashion products in Bangkok. I don't know how it works. It just doesn't make sense. That's all I'm saying. And you barely ever see any people in the stores too. Like, they can't be making that many sales. Like, people go through the malls, they go in the malls and they walk through the malls, but when you're actually looking inside the stores of the ultra high-end brands that are selling $6,000 handbags, there's no one in there buying those. But I guess there only takes like one person coming in there at some certain time of the week, and they got their quota. So you don't have to sell that many when you're marking up a product like 5,000% from the cost of materials. I guess it's why that one of that luxury guy, I forget his name, Bernault or something, is one of those high-end fashion brands. He's one of the richest people in the world because he's got the highest markups in the world on products. But anyway, besides that, Bangkok's pretty cool. But it could be dangerous because a lot of the entertainment activities, which I guess this is true for any place, is related to drinking. So, go to Soy 11, they got all those bars, and they're all trying to get you to buy drinks. And then the Soy Cowboy and those places, they're all trying to get you to buy drinks. Every place that's associated with fun is getting you to buy drinks. But that's kind of true around here too. You go downtown Austin, 6th Street, 5th Street, they're wanting you to buy drinks. And the drinks are a lot more than they are in Bangkok. But even in Bangkok, with like $3 or $4 a beer at bars, that's still kind of high. I think when you compare, alcohol still has a lot of tax on it. And then the craft beers, they get taxed even harder. Because I heard that the big beer companies, like Chang's and Leo's and Singhas, they went to the government and lobbied the government to create a law. And this was to protect the beer, the national beer industry or something. They got them to say that if you don't produce more than like 1 million bottles a year, or whatever the number is. It was just a high number, whatever a high number, 100 million bottles a month, I don't know. But it was something that put them into the category of being protected. And so unless you were that, you had to pay this extra, whatever, 20, 30% tax. And then that makes the price of like small craft breweries even more, even if they're within Thailand. So it put this extra tax on smaller craft breweries. So you want to try to get an IPA, and it costs $10 to $15 a can, even for beers that are made inside in Thailand, because there's all this extra tax on it. And I don't know if it's 20, 30% more. It might be 100, 200% more. I don't know. But they put this extra tax on it. So that was kind of whack. Because I do enjoy a good IPA. And another place that's like that is Malaysia. Because Malaysia is primarily a Muslim country. And I got this camera on a belt, and it's right in the middle, and it's swinging and tapping me. You could guess where it's tapping me. But yeah, Malaysia, being a primarily Muslim country, has high taxes on their alcohol as well. So it's like, it might be $3 or $4 in Thailand. I think it's $4 or $5 or $6 a beer in Malaysia. So if you want to drink alcohol, that factors in to where you might want to go. And if you go up to like Chiang Mai, and I heard it's only like, $2 or $3 for a beer. So it might be cheaper. It's definitely cheaper than Bangkok, because you gotta factor in the higher rent in Bangkok. So that's another place I want to visit, Chiang Mai. And I also want to visit Vietnam. And that's one place that has really cheap beer. Vietnam and Cambodia. If you're looking for cheap beer, those two should be towards the top of your list. You can get I think the cheapest I've seen in some of the videos I was watching was like 25 cents for like a pint of beer draft. But it's more like 50 cents a can, 50 cents to $1. So if you want to be a raging alcoholic and go drink yourself to death for very cheap, look at Cambodia, like Phnom Penh might be a little bit more expensive. I think it was Siem Reap. Siem Reap is where I saw the really cheap beer. And that's closest to like the Angkor Wat. So I'm going to go over there and visit someday, because I've had more than one person say you have to go see Angkor Wat. I'm like, I'm not really into it. And they're like, even if you think blah blah blah, I don't want to see it, you should go. So I'm gonna have to go someday and see Angkor Wat, even though I've watched videos and it's a bunch of old stacked rocks. People still say you have to go. So I'll go look at the old stacked rocks someday. And they're not even as old stacked rocks as Egypt. I never want to go to Egypt. I love ancient Egypt and, pyramids and hieroglyphics and all that stuff, but I've watched videos of Egypt and just the way that they hound tourists and scams, and I never want to set foot in Egypt. just based off of how those people act towards tourists. And another place is India. I've watched videos of India and it looks just crazy. Way too many people, way too dirty. No thanks. Those are off my list. Although India would be one of the cheapest places to live. I'm sure they got some very cheap beer there too. But no thanks. No India, no Bangladesh. Maybe Nepal. I'd like to see maybe the mountains and stuff there. In Cambodia I go to. Laos doesn't seem like there's much going on there. Like if you want to see some nature and some waterfalls, do a quick visa run from Vietnam or Cambodia or wherever. Go to Laos for a week. That'd probably be enough time to spend there. Bangkok is really the most modern, like, but it's like high-end luxury stuff too that I don't necessarily need or even want to be tempted with. Like when I went to the movies, it was like $38 for this, for the really luxury movie theater. I don't need to be tempted with stuff like that. I'd have to say no to it. Like when I actually retire early, I'm gonna have to start being more disciplined and not spending money on things that I don't need. And beating myself up on not selling my options in MicroStrategy when I could have, and losing $1 million in paper gains I could have had. I totally wrecked my Roth IRA, which is upsetting because I'll never get it back to where the all-time high it was on November 21st. So that kind of sucks. Hindsight's 2020.
Wait.
But my main trading account is still fine and it's still up like 50-60%. And those gains in that account are enough to cover my actual physical losses, money that because not only in my Roth did I lose on paper gains, I went lower. I lost about 120, lost 120,000 that I had in there. Because, and it gets worse. So, and I think I've already mentioned this on my Some More Jason channel. I converted my traditional IRA, which was like, I don't know, 110,000 into the Roth, which counts as like a withdrawal. So you have to pay taxes on the 113,000. So that's like $25,000 in taxes that I have to pay by April, because I did that last year, 2024 in November. So that counts against what's in there. that has to come out of my personal account. And then I lost 120,000 of the principal of pretty much all I converted. I lost when I could have cashed out with $1 million in gains in November 21st. So that hurts. That stings. It stings a little. And that's because of options. The implied volatility, you get paid on volatility. And the implied volatility had gone up like over 200% on November 21st. And I wasn't really even watching what the implied volatility was. And didn't really even know to look at it, to be honest. And there's all these different Greeks that you gotta watch, and options can just burn you. It's basically the thing. When all that euphoria was running high, I should have cashed out and ran for safer investments. Just held cash, really. Like, with hindsight, I would have sold all my options on November 21st, sat in cash until MicroStrategy dipped below 300, because at that point it was like 545. I should have just sold everything and bought back in at almost half the price when it dipped below 300 just a week or two ago. I still expect it to go up. Like, I expect Bitcoin to be 3x from where it's at now by the end of the year. So somewhere near 300,000. And MicroStrategy I expect to be 6x where it's now, which would be somewhere around 1,800. That's a lot. It seems crazy when the price is only 300 now. But if it does do that, then I'll be sitting pretty. And I will sell out of a lot of it. I'll probably keep like what I have in it now. I'll sell until I have that much left in the investment, and then move the other stuff and do other investments, diversify a little bit. Maybe go into a preferred stock. MicroStrategy's preferred stock pays 8%, but by that time it'll be up higher and the yield will be much lower. I'll do something to generate income. Be selling like covered calls on my shares that I keep, and then maybe put it into like a yield max account that does the cover call strategies too, that pays like 8 to 10% yield. We'll see. Depending what happens to interest rates, I can get a 4% just in a money market account. Still deciding. But I've got to ramp up selling things around the house too. And I got Google Fiber today, which has been a dream of mine since they put it in Missouri back in the day. That was probably like back in 07. I don't remember. First Google Fiber when it went out, but ever since that day, I've been dreaming about getting it, and today was that day. And I originally scheduled to get the 8 gigabyte package for $150 a month, which is 8 gigabits per second up and down. And I was going to do that because I thought if you order that package, you'd get like better equipment, that they would have to have better equipment to be able to handle 8 gigabits per second. But the guy that was installing it said it's the same equipment no matter which package you get. So I told him to just downgrade to the 2 gigabits per second for $100 a month, which that's what I was paying for Spectrum, for 400 down, 40 up. So I'm getting over, I'm getting 5 times the download speed and 50 times the upload speed for the same price. That's a no-brainer. Plus, Google Fiber's latency is like 1 to 2 milliseconds, where cable can be intermittent, and when a lot of people get on it, it's like in the afternoons. People get home from work, it seems to be worse. Speed slow down and blah blah blah. Where fiber, I'll never use over 2 gigabits per second, because almost everything's connected with wireless. So even Wi-Fi 6E, it's been maxing out like 1.5 gig up and down. So that's all I really need. 2 gigabits per second. It's plenty fast. Hello. Oh. And one thing I did like about Bangkok was all the meetups that I went to. I met a lot of people. I probably got like 20 WhatsApp or Line contacts from people that live there or that were just visiting. So, like, I met a lot of people, made some friends, which I looked on a meetup app around here, and all it was like online people trying to sell courses to do things. It was nothing looked fun in the meetup app for Austin. All online stuff. So I think for social life, Bangkok looked really good. And when I went down to Pattaya, I looked on the meetup app and I didn't see as many things down there. Didn't seem like there was much expat social meetup groups. I'm sure there are, meetups of some kind there, YouTubers or whatever, but we're not as easy to find as there in Bangkok. Bangkok, there was something going on like almost every night. There'd be multiple meetups going on a single night. You had to pick which one you want to go to. It'd be like a trivia group meeting up, and then like a sky bar meetup, or people playing board games. That was another thing. Meetup. Then they have meetups in the morning, get coffee. So there's a lot of, and they're all different. Like, you go to the different ones, and there's all different kinds of people that would go to them. Some older crowd, some younger crowd. So I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not quite with relating to all the older retirees. But then there's some really young, like digital nomads and backpacker type of travelers, youngins. I did meet some people that were actually living there and working there. They were around my age. Guy Rishi from Hong Kong. He spoke perfect English. He lived in the United States for like 10 years. So he was pretty much like an American. He didn't have any accent at all. And he didn't really look Asian either. Said he's from Hong Kong, but he looked more like Eastern European or something. Then I met a guy, Sol, like SOL, like the sun, and he was from Bahrain. And I don't know if I'd ever even heard the country Bahrain, and I definitely had not met anyone from Bahrain. But he's a digital nomad. He'd been living in the south of Phuket for like 3 years, and he did venture capital investing in companies. I guess he invested in a company and then they sold it and they made some money. So he's basically just living off of some capital gains of a company that he sold and looking for his next venture. He came to Bangkok just because it's more of a place to socialize and meet people that he could possibly invest in a company. And he actually did meet someone. Well, the thing is everyone's pitching these buzzword business ideas like AI everything. Like, I'm going to make an AI company that I don't even know off the top of my head, but AI and quantum. I'm going to make a quantum software AI company. So there's a lot of people that are just like pitching BS, basically. Probably just trying to get some funding money and then skip town with it. So that'd be something to be careful of. I wouldn't invest any money myself. You gotta look out for people that are floating around the world borrowing other people's money. That's a way to survive. And there's people doing it, I'm sure of it. I do miss, well, this is a lot more peaceful. Hello. A lot more peaceful walking here, but I do miss the chaos of Bangkok. It was a lot more entertaining walking down the street. Just witnessing the chaos. But the pollution is another thing in Bangkok. It was bad a couple days I was there, and when I left it got even worse. It was like PM 2.5 reading of over 200, which PM 2.5 is like particulate matter smaller than 2.5, I don't know, microns or something. Don't know. It's just, it means very small air pollution that gets into your lungs. And it's pretty bad in Bangkok. I don't know what they're going to do about it. Like after, I think it was a week or two after I left, their solution for the week was to give everyone free access to the MRT and the BTS. So they did get a lot more people that were using the BTS and, you know, not driving or using taxis, which that was supposed to help a little, but that's not a permanent solution. Although I wish that they did it while I was there. I'd have taken a free week, but it does just make getting on the trains probably impossible. so many people are trying to take them. They were crowded enough when they weren't free, so maybe I don't wish they did that while I was there. Careful what you wish for. So pollution is a consideration for Bangkok. But someone did show that, like, just vaping, if you blow a vape in those PM things, it goes up to like 300 or 400. So I've vaped for over 10 years. But that's not the same thing, because there could still be particulates in vape. I mean, there are particulates, but they're mostly like water vapor. It's not the same as inhaling car exhaust. Even if it does have more particulates. It matters what those particulates are. Arr. We're at 2 miles. Yeah, I walked 2 miles and there's not much to see. You see a lot when you walk 2 miles in Bangkok. A lot you would like to see and a lot you might not. Oh, I just got something in my sandal. I'll make it to that bench. Little rock. And I've become a sandal man.
Split pace, 18 minutes, 23 seconds per mile.
18 minutes, 23 seconds a mile. And it was crazy that I ended up walking like 295 miles while I was in Bangkok, or while I was in Thailand total. I was counting Pattaya too. And I came back and weighed the exact same. Like literally, I weighed 265 when I left. And the day I came home, I weighed 265. And I walked 295 miles and didn't budge. But that day at the buffet probably put me up 10 pounds that I had to walk off. That buffet day. But other than that buffet day, I didn't eat a ton of food. I thought that I would have lost some weight, especially since the food that I was eating, besides the McDonald's I ate, it's pizza. I thought I was eating healthier overall, that it would make a difference. Nope. Didn't make a difference. So really the only thing that's ever worked, and I've been on Ozempic. I did not continue taking, let me think. No, I didn't take my Ozempic with me, but I've taken it since I got back. And it really doesn't make much of a difference for me. The Ozempic's not the magic bullet for me. The only thing that's really ever worked is either the Atkins diet. I lost money, or not money. I lost weight doing that back in like 2003, 2004. And then later the keto diet, like in 2012, 2013, I lost weight doing keto diet. And then last year to the year before, doing the carnivore diet, which is really keto and Atkins on steroids. Just steaks and butter and eggs. That's pretty much all I ate. A hamburger. But it was too fatty. It was the fat that really upset my gut. So I'm thinking of trying to go back to more of an Atkins style diet, or more lean protein, not such high fat content, not adding butter on my steaks, and maybe do not ribeyes, maybe do like, I don't know, leaner cuts of meat, maybe do some more roasts. I ate a lot of meat on the cruise. That Carnival Cruise Line, that's some of the best bang for your buck you can get in a vacation. It was like $500 and some for a 5-day cruise. That includes like all the meals, does not include drinks. So alcohol can get expensive because the beers are like $9, and then mixed drinks could be $15, $16 a drink. So that's kind of expensive. Hello. But otherwise, like, you got all kinds of free entertainment and shows you can go to, comedy shows, you got movies, play on the big screen up on the deck, and there's just plenty to do. And then get off and walk around Mexico. You don't have to, like Cozumel and Progreso, there's no immigration or nothing you have to go through. They just let you off the boat, you walk around, get back on the boat. It's no hassle at all. So I think it's a good way to get away for a while. And I had that planned even before I ever planned to go to Bangkok. So it wasn't like I got home from Bangkok and then 2 weeks later I was like, oh man, I really need a vacation. I had already committed to that before I planned Bangkok. And now I don't have any vacations on the horizon until I think August. I'm going to Florida with Misty and the fam. My adopted family. And then going to Ohio for the week of Thanksgiving, and probably the week after. I'll have the week of Thanksgiving off, and then I'll work the week of Thanksgiving while I'm there. Got some music headed this way. Got some opera music. And then, if I'm still working by next December, I might go to Vietnam. Maybe do a trip like from Hanoi and then go to Da Nang, maybe ride a train down. Or fly. It's cheap to fly, especially domestically in Vietnam. It's probably $10 for a flight. And then go to Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City. Those are the three I really want to check out. I know, I think Hanoi is going to be way too crazy, just based on the videos that I've seen, but I would like to visit there. I think Da Nang, however you want to say it, will be chill. I watched this guy, Social Sammy. He's from a German that lives there, and it looks like a really cool place. It's definitely nowhere as big and modern as Bangkok, but it's right on the, and there's a beach there. It's a nice beach. It's clean and very cheap. So I think Da Nang could be a good base. You can get a condo for like, say, $300 a month. So even when you're traveling other places, having all your stuff stored for $300 a month, that's as much as a storage unit would be here. It's probably more. I don't know how much storage units go for these days, but I wouldn't be surprised to hear it's $300 a month or more. So, if I had cashed out in November, I would already probably be thinking of pulling the plug and going. But now, like, I have enough now, but I really want to have enough plus a cushion before I pull the plug. To be able to make it to 59 and a half, which is like 14 years. So you need at least I'd say you need at least $700,000 to make it 14 years. That's at $50,000 a year, and that's without earning any interest on your principal. So I would say that's a safe amount, and I have that much once my house sells. So my house sells, even if I only get $350, $400 for my house, I'll have enough right now. And I don't think it's going to be $50,000 a year that I'll need, but that's like a safe amount, I think. You know, you could factor in cost of living going up over the next 14 years. And even if your investments didn't return anything, you'd still have enough to make it. So that's safe. But, you know, I had $1 million more than that in November. I'd have been so safe, even though the majority of it was in my Roth account that I couldn't touch until I'm 59 and a half. So it didn't really count. But it did inflate my individual investments higher too. But I think it's going even higher. So that was based off like MicroStrategy going up to $540 a share. And they're at $300 right now. So not quite half of what it was, but close. And then I expect it to go up 6x before the end of the year. So even if it goes up just 3x, it'd be, you know, if it goes up 2x, if it goes up to 600, I'll be sitting way pretty. But whatever it's at, I'd say even April, I'll be ready. Already up to the bridge. Time we're looking at 51 minutes 50 seconds. It's definitely not a record time. And I do think that, MicroStrategy is going to be, it's a good long-term investment. I am probably going to hold, like I said, how much that I have in monetary value. Like I'll sell out to get down to that value again, take the profits off. So say I have 100,000 in MicroStrategy right now, and it goes up 6x to 600,000. I'll sell 500,000 and still have 100,000 invested and take up all that extra profit. And then I'll take that 500,000 and invest it in some more like dividend paying vehicles. I would like to be able to make like 50,000 a year on just dividends and never have to spend my principal, just pay for my lifestyle based on dividends that should last forever. And I could sell covered calls on whatever shares of MicroStrategy that I have left. That's the plan, to make income off of my investments. And I'll probably just keep some in a money market account earning like 4%, which if they drop interest rates, it'll probably be less than 4% by the end of the year. Made it. 54 minutes. Definitely not setting any records with that. And I shaved my beard off, my dyed beard, and I'm letting the all-natural grayness doing a gray check. I want to see how old I really am. And I'm doing the same to my hair. Which I shaved the sides. My temples are gray. That's my true age. And then you'll probably see some gray growing in here. Just doing an age check after I let it grow out some and see how old I really look. I'll probably go back to dyeing it again. I just use like shampoo dye, rub it in and leave it in for 10 minutes while you're in the shower. But you have to do it like every 2 weeks, or else when the dye starts coming out, it starts looking like reddish. But it does make me look like 10 years younger. But I don't really care how old I look around here. Going to Bangkok and meeting new people, I kind of had a incentive for wanting to look as young as I could. But around here, I got no one to impress. I love these sandals. I pretty much switched to all sandals while I was in Bangkok towards the end there. They're so comfortable. I was getting blisters when I was walking with socks and tennis shoes, but I was not getting blisters walking in these babies. Although I did post a picture of my tan on the top of my foot. Ridiculous tan look. But they are comfy. Tiva. And I tried multiple pairs of Tivas. Not all Tivas are created the same. These that have this little pad was needed for me. And this toe area has a good type of pad on it. It doesn't rub on my foot, because I had a pair that about sawed my toe off. But these are great. The majority of the 290 miles walking in Bangkok were in these. Oh, I won't leave home without them now. And when I got home, I switched back to Apple. So I have an iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I got an Apple Watch Ultra 2 with cellular. And how far was it here? 2.86 miles. So I have to actually take time out of my day and walk for 2 hours to match what I was walking in Bangkok by just going about my day and going to do things, go to eat, go to whatever. Where here, any place that I have to go eat is mostly I have to drive to, or I just order it, delivery. And then I have to specifically go walk, especially when I'm working. I have to work all day from home. I have to be near my computer. So basically I just sit around all day waiting to be asked for help. And my company was pushing to have everyone come back to work. And I opened up a case with HR and asked for a medical exemption because I have a disease that's covered by the American Disabilities Act, which is true. Ulcerative colitis is a disability. It's an incurable disease covered by the American Disabilities Act. And and they were asking, like, because I was asking to be able to work remotely, and they said, well, is there any other concessions that we can make that you could come in and we could provide you something that would allow you to come in to work? I'm like, well, if I got my own office with my own bathroom with a window. And they didn't quite understand like what my disability would require that. And I'm like, I can just tell you what my disability is. They're like, you don't have to tell us any of your medical history. They're trying to cover themselves because they can't ask you, like, what's wrong with you medically, of why you need this. But I'm like, I'm going to voluntarily tell you what my condition is because it's going to help you understand why I'm asking to work from home. So they're like, okay. I'm like, well, I have ulcerative colitis, which means I have almost constant diarrhea and almost constant flatulence. So they're like, oh, okay, we get it. We understand why you're asking for a bathroom and a window now. So they're like, okay, well, that's pretty much all we need to know. We're going to approve your medical exemption so you can work from home. They didn't want me coming into the office and farting it up. Which, I'm not lying. I do have almost constant diarrhea and constant flatulence. Sorry. And I'm like, it would not be good for my coworkers, and it would be pretty embarrassing for me. But really, it wouldn't be that embarrassing. I would eat beans before I went to work if they told me I still had to come in, until people were begging HR to send me to work from home. That's funny. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got. That was my updated walk and talk. And I'll be doing this more often. Try to get back in the routine. So I'll talk to you later. Take it easy.